Hey guys, it's Miss Brooklyn. Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I constructed my curly fro wig. And if you want to see how I retain this color, go ahead and click the link in the description box. It's going to take you to the previous video. But in the meantime, let's get started. Hey guys, let's start this video off by subscribing and turning the notifications on for this channel. It will notify you directly, letting you know I posted a new video. That way, you never miss an update. Welcome to the family. Now let's start this video. To make our wig, I will be using a mesh Spanx dome cap. It's my personal favorite to use when making full wigs. Because I'm working with curly hair today, there isn't much preparation that I need to do to my silk base closure, but there are some tips and tricks that I want to show you. The next few recommendations are optional. Because I have a very small head, I like to fit my Spanx dome cap to my exact head size. That will ensure two things. One, it fits me perfectly. Two, it lays as flat to my head and as close to my scalp as possible. You'll notice I have several lines of identification on my Spanx dome cap. The first set of lines is where I measured my head size. I will then take the Spanx dome cap and fold it over and secure it with T-pins. What this does is stretch and tighten the Spanx dome cap to fit my head shape at a comfortable size for me. So the size will vary based on your head size and the amount of hair on your head. Keep in mind, I always sew my hair flat down in cornrows straight back prior to putting wigs on. I do not put it in a ponytail. I do not leave it in a fro. I sew my hair straight back. Taking the necessary steps to measure my closure onto my Spanx dome cap certifies two things. One, it is accurately placed down matching the diameter of my head. Two, that same precise accuracy will aid in the illusion of my unit looking like real scalp. So next, I will lay the closure down onto the Spanx dome cap, making sure that the lines on the closure matches the lines on the Spanx dome cap. I'll then use T-pins to secure it down to make sewing easier. A little tip to remember while securing your closure down onto the dome cap is to make sure you use the T-pins and secure it down throughout the entire perimeter of the closure, making sure to pull taut. You don't want any gaps between the closure and the Spanx dome cap. Simply put, you should not be able to see anything underneath the perimeter of where you have your closure down. Begin sewing your closure down, making sure you remember to pull taut. You first want to sew down the sides. So you do one side, and then you'll cut your thread and begin working on the other side, making sure you pull it taut. When you have both sides secured down and flat, you will then finish off the rest of the perimeter, taking it around. So to reiterate, you will do the left, and then you will do the right, and then you will do the back. Now that you've secured your closure down, it should look like this. Very neat, very flat. And trust me, it's not going anywhere if it was sewn down correctly. So now we will begin on constructing our unit. This next step is optional. Because I have a very small head and I'm going to try to fit 4 bundles of curly hair onto this unit, for the first bundle, I'm going to lower it. I'm going to take both ends of the entire bundle and I'm going to have them connect. This is the only time you will ever see me penetrate through the wefts and not around the wefts. I'm going to take my needle and penetrate through the wefts and connect it to my dome cap and begin securing it down. I'm only penetrating through the wefts as this is the beginning of the sewing process. And as I continue on, you will see I no longer sew through the weft, but around the weft. I'm only sewing through the weft to ensure that it stays connected as I sew because I did double my tracks. Now that I have secured it onto my dome cap, I'm going to use the T-pin to mark where I want this first row to end. And then I'm going to continue on sewing the hair down using the loop and pull method, making sure that I sew around the wefts and not through the wefts. And also making sure I'm sewing around both tracks because again we doubled it. If I forgot to mention, I'm starting with my 18-inch bundles and they are the brightest in color. I'm slowing this part of the video down because I wanted to show you in depthly how I close off or begin the ending or the beginning of my tracks. As you can see here, I'm running my thread around the wefts. Once my needle peeks through underneath the wefts, I split the thread down the center and pull the needle through the center of the thread. I then take either the left or the right side of the thread and wrap it around the needle approximately 3 to 4 times. And then I pull it through. What that does is make a small knot in the thread as I'm pulling it through, certifying that the thread does not unravel. I do this at the very start of a track and at the very end of a track, and sometimes I do it in between the rows just to ensure its security. So one more time, take the hair, fold it over, secure the needle through the thread, pull the needle through the center of the thread loop. Take either the right or the left side and wrap the thread around the needle 3 to 4 times and pull the loop. It'll be a knot there. Here I'm preparing for my fold over method. I'm removing the T-pin and I'm folding the tracks over, making sure that I have the double tracks aligned. I'm going to stick a T-pin in it and secure the other end to where I want this row to begin and end. I'm then going to penetrate the wefts one more time to secure that it is flat onto my dome cap. Once my starting point is secured down, I'm going to resume using the loop and pull method, sewing around the wefts and not through the wefts. And if I had not mentioned, this is done because it reduces shedding. Pay attention because this next tip is extremely important. In every wig cap that you decide to use, whether it's this one or something else, you will find what I called a foundation band. There's two. Sometimes there's 3. These are thick lines within the wig cap that holds the entire wig cap together. You are not to sew through it or on it. As you see here, I'm shaking my finger no, I'm going to sew around it. So meaning I will skip that space and sew around it. If you sew on it or through it, your wig cap will shrink and will not fit your head. Now I'm simply going to finish off filling in my unit in U formation. Once I get to the center, I'm going to focus solely filling the center with one whole track. But we'll get to that point when we get there.
nigga come back to the south, yeah. Bad bitch wanna go back to the crib so she can open up her mouth, yeah. Baby, I'm a perp in my body. Blue chains make a nigga act the wrong way. You took a shortcut up to the long way. Now I'm on the highway, why you got a long bitch? I've been sleeping in the bed, working late night. She only wanna have sex if the song's right. Did the thorn right? She only wanna get high, smoking all night. Bottom, but it's alright. We doing everything that they don't like. These niggas finna show up if the hoes night. The only one times, what do you think the show's like? Take it back to the whole night. Shawty, tell me what you don't like. So I can come and make it pretty. I haven't seen you cause I've been working deep in the city. Figure if you being silly like that. What you're around. What you're around. So we here, buzz, flips, hitters on buzz, talking guns. What you're around.
I'm now done with the bottom half of my unit. I'm going to begin filling in the center with the first bundle of 16 inches that I have. I then will close off the unit with my last bundle of 16 inches. So basically what I'm going to do is start going back and forth in the center in more so of a U formation, filling in that entire section, keeping the rows extremely close because again, I want to fit all 4 bundles onto this unit.
It's like I'm here, but I'm not. I'm on one, my mind appears to be shot. Trying to navigate this high while I just steer for the top. As I prepare for the drop, I roll another one to share with this thought. At this height, we up all night, we watch the sunrise as casual. Cause as you go for right till afterwards feels irrational. When coming down, it's hard to tell what's real and what's actual. As the night passes gradual, staying high feels so natural. Took half a pill at 12:48.
Now that I have successfully filled in my center, taking up as much space in the crown area as possible, I'm now going to use the very last 16-inch bundle and close off the entire unit all the way to the top of the closure. So it's basically a back and forth motion, continually to use the fold over method and looping around the wefts and not through the wefts. Just going around and around, and then you're going to connect the very last track to the actual lace. The inside of your unit should look like this. You're going to slide your hands through the pocket space. That is the space between the mesh and the actual closure where we did not sew it down. You want to be careful and cut the entire perimeter. You don't want any spank stone cap around that entire perimeter. So take your time and cut. Make sure you do not cut your foundation lines, which are the lines that hold your entire unit together. Do not cut those lines. And to create these curls, I'm just going in with a bottle with conditioner, oil, and water. I'm going to spray the hair. And then I'm going to add some curling cream, any leave-in curling cream, and some oil, and go in with perm rods. I'm using different size perm rods because I want a lot of texture and dimension in the hair. So in the front, I'm going to use smaller perm rods. In the back, I'm going to use larger perm rods.